You know, there were a couple of shows that I really wanted to be in that I was not able to be in because they were recorded in Canada. One of them would be Death Note. I thought that whole story idea was so cool. And so I contacted my friends in Canada who were working on Death Note. I said, hey, I want to be a part of this. And they said, oh, I'm sure the producers would love to have you be a part of this. And then they called me and said, we're not allowed to hire any American actors. Inuyasha. I know a lot of you guys are Inuyasha fans. I was supposed to play one of the bad guys in Inuyasha. And then the producer called me and said, I'm not allowed to hire anybody. Because here's the deal. Here's the business side of this. If you're Canada and you want to get productions to come spend money and work on their show in your country, you make them a deal, right? Here's the deal. We will let you record for less. We'll give you a good deal recording in our country. It'll cost you less than it would cost you to record in the United States. But you have to hire our people. You have to use our studios, you have to hire our engineers, you have to hire our actors. So if a show is recorded in Canada, you won't typically ever see an American anime actor in it. Inuyasha and a lot of the Gundam series, Inuyasha and Death Note are a couple of the notable titles that were recorded in Canada. So Death Note was one. There was a show, I know this is so weird, but I'm just going to tell you anyway, because I told you I'm an open book. There was a show that I had started working on. Not a show I wanted to be in. It's a show I was in for about 17 episodes. I was playing the lead role, and I loved it so much that I would go to conventions and buy toys from the show and would take them back to the studio and put them on the window seal of the studio. I would bring presents to the other voice actors and the director. I loved this show so much. And it was a long show, like a lot of episodes. So I was really, really excited. Because it's cool to get cast in a big role in a short series. But it's really cool to get cast in a big role in a long series, because you get to work on it for a long time. And that show was Sergeant Frog. I was Kararo, and I loved that show so much. You know, he's like a nerd, right? He loves making Gundam models and stuff. I loved him so much. I gave him like a lateral lisp. Like, is it the sloth? Sid the sloth in Ice Age? He was so cute. I loved him so much. And then when ADV lost their license, or they went out of business, all of the shows they were working on were gone, and Sergeant Frog was one of them. And then it went to Funimation. Funimation picked up the license for Sergeant Frog, and they just started all over. They went back to the beginning, and they recast all of it, and so that was one show that I would have loved to have played, would have loved to continue to do, I should say. Another one was Gurren Lagann. I was playing a character in Gurren Lagann. Do you guys know that show? I was playing Viral. He was a pretty bad dude. And when ADV went under, that was another show that was lost. So, yeah, there are a lot of shows like that you'd love to have been a part of. But whenever I talk about shows I wish I would have been a part of, I have to qualify it, you guys. And here's what I want to qualify it with. I have been more blessed than I ever deserved. If I never got to record one other character ever in my life, I have already, you follow me? I have already been given more than I ever deserved. And every time I talk about or am asked about, what do you wish you could have done? Or what would you like to have done? Something in me almost feels like that's wrong. Something in me almost feels like that smacks of ingratitude. You know what I mean? Like, you're not grateful for what you did. You want more. I want to do that. I wish I could have done that. I don't want to fall into that trap. I am so grateful for what I've gotten to do that I don't ever want anyone to think that the next thing, and I want to do that. I wish I could have done that. I want my life to be full of gratitude for what I have been given, not remorse for what I was not given. And I think that's a good word for everybody. On your worst day, you have much to be thankful for, right? And you don't often think about it, because often you get kind of caught up in the things that didn't work out, right? The things that didn't happen the way you hoped they would. The relationships that didn't work out, the job you didn't get, you know what I mean? The money you didn't earn, the car that did break down, it didn't work for you when you needed to get somewhere. All of the things that didn't happen, or you didn't get. And I really feel like a lot of people focus too much on what they did not get instead of what they have. Didn't mean to get all preachy there, but I mean it's a serious thing. In fact, I don't. A lot of you know about this, but a couple of years ago, when the new year came around, I was thinking of New Year's resolutions, and I never really bought into that kind of thing. But I thought, what do I want to do differently this year? And this was maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and I thought, I want to be more grateful. I want to practice gratitude. When I'm feeling like I got ripped off, or I didn't get what I deserved, or, I should have been treated this, or I should have gotten that. I really want to try to really refocus my mind on being grateful for what I do have. Well, how do you remind yourself to be grateful? That's kind of weird, right? How do you do that? It's not something you typically do. How do you remind yourself to be grateful? Well, then I had this idea. How do you remind yourself to do anything? Anybody? Make a note. Anyone else? I'm waiting to hear it, what I decided to do. Set an alarm. That's what this baby's for, right? You gotta remember to go to the dentist, right? You gotta remember you have a class tomorrow at 3 p.m. Set an alarm to remind yourself, oh, I got it. So I set an alarm on my phone every day at noon. It goes off every day at noon. And it's a reminder to be grateful. When that alarm goes off, no matter where I am or what I'm doing, I try to stop what I'm doing and just go, okay, let's go, and then keep going. Just taking 10 seconds, to just contemplate all that you do have to be grateful for. And I've had fans that have started doing that, and they write me emails, and they tell me I was having the crappiest day, and my alarm went off, and I stopped and just contemplated what I have to be grateful for, and the whole rest of the day, the arc of the rest of the day completely changed. So try it. It's free. Not swimming pool free, but free. Hi, Ruby. Did you miss me? No. From your Uncle Crow. What's your question?
What were some of your favorite parts about voicing Crow?
Oh my gosh. Favorite parts about voicing Crow? Well, Crow is pretty easy because, he just talks like this all the time. And he's drunk. But I think my favorite part about Crow is he's very cool. I mean, he's very cool. But I think my favorite part is just working with Rooster Teeth, because I've never worked with them. And for those of you, maybe somebody's question here was, how did you get to play Crow? Well, here's the answer. I was doing a convention appearance in Australia. I was doing a show called Supernova in Australia, and Rooster Teeth was there promoting Ruby. Now, I didn't even know who Rooster Teeth was. Never heard of him. Never heard of Ruby. But one evening, we were at the hotel, and this guy and this girl who were there for Rooster Teeth came up to me, and they said, "Hey Vic, we really like your voice work. We're admirers of your work. Have you ever seen our show?" And I said, "No. I didn't even know who they were." And they said, "Well, let us show you some pictures. And they pulled out an iPad and they started scrolling through designs and images from Ruby. Now, I get a lot of like fans that say, I'm making an anime, or I'm writing a story, and here's some of the characters that I've come up with, and here's some of the designs. I see a lot of that, right? So I'm used to seeing it at varying levels of quality. When they showed me this, I was like, dang, this is really good. Like, this looks really cool. They showed me a couple of clips of Ruby like in action. I was like, dang, this is really good. So we left Australia, and a couple of weeks after I got back to the States, I got an email from these people, and they said, we've got this character in that show that we showed you. Would you be interested in playing the role? Sure. So that's what I did. They sent, now here's the funny part. They're all in Austin, Texas. Did you know that? Like Rooster Teeth is in Austin, Texas. Well, I'm in Los Angeles. I don't go to Austin, Texas. I'm not there to record. So what they do is they send me the script for each of the new episodes. And I sit down at my studio in my house and record all the Crow's lines. There are no other actors there. There's not even any Rooster Teeth people there. I'm alone recording every line. And sometimes, you know, you have to record different versions. Yet you should record, what I normally do is I send them multiple versions of every line. Because you never really know exactly what they want, right? The example that I like to give is, for instance, if the line is, we spoke yesterday. That says, it just says that in the script. Well, how do you say that? Well, there's the obvious, we spoke yesterday. But what if they wanted, what if the intention was, why are you giving me a hard time about not talking to you today? We spoke yesterday. Different intention, right? What if you and I spoke and we wanted to talk to her, but she wasn't there? Maybe the read would be, we spoke yesterday, but you didn't speak with us. See what I'm saying? Even something as simple as 3 words. There are multiple ways to perform it. So if you're doing it alone and you don't have a director there going, no, Vic, that's not the way I wanted it, then you have to give them multiple versions so, you know, they're covered. So I will send them big folders with batches full of lines for them to choose the Crow lines. I love doing the World of, World of Remnant? World of Remnant. I love doing those narratives in World of Remnant. Yes?
So what was it like to play Visional in Room Factory 4? And
Save that for 5 o'clock so that we can spend as much time having a little private time as possible. So who's going to start us off with a good question? Yes, sir.
What do you remember of your work in Generator Gone?
Oh my gosh, I remember that. I love you for asking about Generator Gall. I love that show. How many of you have never seen Generator Gall? What are you doing with your lives? Oh my gosh, you have to check it out. Am I right? Those of you that have seen it. What a great show. It's only like 12 episodes. 12? 13? 12? 12 or 13? Was I 12? So it's an easy, you can watch it in one weekend. But it's a great, great show. It was like the first, I think it may have been the first like lead role I ever played. I played Gaul in Generator Gall, and I gotta tell you, one of my favorite things in an autograph session is when somebody brings up a Generator Gall DVD and just takes me back to some of those early shows that I did. People bring, you know, like, oh gosh, shows from very early on, even Street Fighter, you know, Street Fighter 2 and Evangelion and Generator Gall and some of these shows that I loved so much when I just got started voice acting. What I remember about it is that I loved it so much, and you know, there's something interesting about this. I'm going to tell you guys a story. When I was, years ago, I was a guest at Otakon in Baltimore, And one of the other guests was a man named Seiji Mizushima. Does anybody know who that is? He was the director of Full Metal Alchemist in Japan. Like, this is the guy that literally directed the original, right? So we were guests at Otakon together, and I was so excited to meet him, right? Because I so loved Full Metal. So I met him for the first time. We're in the green room talking. Like, this is Seiji, Mizushima-san, and me. And we're talking, and he has his translator, and I have my translator, and we're talking to each other, and the translators are translating. And I was telling him how much I admired his work and what a great job he did with Full Metal. And his translator says, or he says something to his translator, and his translator says to me, Mizushima-san does not think you know this, but he also directed another show you were in called Generator Gall. And I was like, ah! I was so excited, I couldn't believe it. He directed Generator Gall. So the whole rest of the weekend, I was fanboying over Mizushima-san. That's what I remember. I loved Generator Gall. Question? Yes?